Thank you. Welcome, delegates and the sponsored. Uh, Today's topic is it's really very special and unique, and we have a panel is also a very dynamic panels. Let me start with the topic, the critical infrastructure, building robust and resilience infrastructure. See, what we understand, the critical infrastructure. See, the when we talk about the infrastructure leads to lot many more kind of things. It start with the water to healthcare to educations to the roadways, anything and everything used to come up in the infrastructure. But we are here sitting with my panelist here, with the learned panelist, just to have the banking and security, banking and financial aspect, the infrastructure and all. So with this, I will say we have a two learned panelists, Sunder ji as well as the Taaha ji. Let us start with the introductions with the Sunder ji.
Thanks, Amit ji. It's really a wonderful experience to come to panel and discuss interesting facts and questions, especially on securing critical infrastructure, which has become a major challenge and very important cyber risk. As a CRO, Chief Risk Officer of a very large organization, I've not come here in my official capacity. It's more personal. And I always keep updated about professional developments, and it was very interesting to hear so many speakers before. I used to work for Reliance Nippon Life Insurance 2 months before for about 17, 18 years as Chief Risk Officer. And of course, in charge of cyber risk also there, and also acting CISO many times when one CISO leaves and another CISO takes 3 more months to join. So, and before that, I used to be with the banks, Merrill Lynch, and then ING Vaishya, Standard Chartered, Credit Lyonnais, BI. And before the banks, I used to be with Ernst & Young, consulting various banks, mutual fund and life insurance companies and general insurance companies. And before that, I used to be with Deloitte. This is my background, and I'm here to share my practical experience and hope it's an interesting time. There are many security issues today. There are lots of emerging security issues in terms of challenges in updating your infrastructure continuously, especially tools and technologies are differing, emerging, changing, and people are getting more and more aware and trained, and regulations are getting tougher. So processes need to be really updated. So it's an ever migrating, ever learning, and ever emerging scenario where you will never be able to manage all the risks. Therefore, it's a risk management exercise where you would need to bring down the risks to a limit which is manageable. I hand over the mic to my other colleague.
Thanks, Sundarji. It's really honored to have you on this particular panel. You have worked as a CISO, CRO, CCO, and worked with the multiple organizations, including the Big Fours and all. We are really honored to have you. We have a next panelist is the Taaha ji. He will introduce himself.
Good afternoon, guys. I'd like to first thank Elets to have me here. Talk about cybersecurity. It's always been a pleasure to talk about cybersecurity as a CISO. It's been, I would say, a privilege and an honor at the same time to share a space with mindful people like Sundarji and Amit yourselves. It's been an honor. Myself, Mohammad Taaha Shaikh, working as a CISO in Nippon Life India Asset Management company. I believe it would not be necessary to elaborate more what I do as a CISO and what CISO role is all about. I believe most of you being here as a CISO, CIO, and CRO knows better the job than me. I would not take much time to introducing myself and what I do as a CISO. I likely quickly, considering the time crunch we have, the time clock is running too fast now, as I feel. So I'll hand it over to you, Amit. Let's start.
Thanks. Thanks, Taharji. We are really honored to have you, hardcore CISO from the, we have a combinations. One is from insurance, another is from MFI sector, and myself, Amit Kumar, heading legal and compliance of the Bharat Financial Inclusion Limited. He's a 100% subsidiary of the IndusInd Bank. So we have a very good combinations. So with this, I'll start by putting my very simple questions to Sundarji, who has already worked as a CISO, CRO, and CCO. All three, the assurance functions he has handled. So just, Sundarji, you tell me how difficult or easy, as because you have a lot of experience, is to identify, address vulnerability for the financial organizations, and when job is to continuous monitoring by you and your team. In other words, how effective strategies you are preparing for the organizations?
So it is not easy. It's very difficult to identify all the vulnerabilities, and vulnerabilities emerge because the threats and vulnerabilities change today. Every hour you get malware attacks, you get attacks from various places. How do you cordon off those? How do you manage? How do you secure? It's a continuous challenge. And therefore, you need to adopt a very strong strategy in terms of assessment of the risks, then review of the risk by experts, and then audit. All the three layers being different. You can't have the same layer, and therefore you need different experts to come in. Even in tools and technologies, the fact that you need to have an internal firewall from a different technology and an external firewall from a different technology, and along with the DMZs, has become a very important aspect. And this is a very old one, maybe a decade-old rule. Things have emerged after that, and we have Wi-Fi adding to the confusion and more emerging risks in terms of the employees and all stakeholders wanting to access systems in the airport, in call center, in various places. Then you need to have safeguarding technologies to identify the risks as well as mitigate them. So continuous risk assessment naturally would be very heterogeneous. You could have a honeypot giving you lots of signals and lots of information. You could have a very effective patch management system continuously preventing malware and as well as giving information. You could have a SIEM connecting to various network devices, giving lots of messages, again lots of techniques, lots of red, amber, green areas where you mitigate at least the red and amber. And then you could have various other layers like audits, reviews. When I was CRO and CISO, I used to get daily report of incident management, VAPT, for all internet systems. And we used to continuously fix the red and amber in that. It's very important that you continuously monitor vulnerabilities in the network. And then you also have reviews being done by experts. That again gives you a humongous list of things to do, which you chase. I remember in a ransomware attack where we were aligned to a group system, the group got attacked. But because we did patch management and we chased vulnerabilities and fixed them, we had an upgraded kind of network system as compared to the group. And so we got saved from the ransomware attack. Just one server got impacted for about 1.5 hours or 2 hours. We could separate it out. Whereas some of the group companies had to shut stop for 3 days or 4 days, which is ridiculous. So in kind of situations that we live in where customer expects every second the systems to be there and access it. So you need to be really very strictly monitoring the systems and secure your critical infrastructure continuously. Therefore, expert reviews are important. Audits are important by, again, experts. Every different expert brings in some degree of different knowledge, different problem, and then challenge also to practically fix the problem. I can narrate so many incidents and examples for that, but with the kind of time, it's not
Like this
enough.
concern. Though really thankful to your views, and the delegates will definitely get the benefit out of it. See, the continuous monitoring, the continuously examining the reports, follow up with the management, completing the work will make the strategy easier on the part of the experience with the Sundarji. So we will come to the Taharji. What you analyze as a hardcore CISO, you are, how you are seeing it out, strategy, how you are seeing it, the difficulties or simple. I will say in some word another.
I believe to answer your question, sir has already touched upon each and every corner of it. I'll like to just add on it. As you know, in his answer, he touched upon certain points like the audits, the continuous risk assessment, and the vulnerability assessments. All these comes into a play when you say you have a strategy in place. Then according to me, I would say there are three lines of defense. I would say whenever it comes to any business or any line of business. So one is the business team who actually work, or rather on the solutions. So it has to come from a top down approach, right from the business team. So security should build from the day one, so that the impact of those assessment can be quantifiable. So let's say business team, then comes the risk team, or being a CR, he's already touched upon those points, and then the internal audits, or the external audits, being in an audit. When you say strategy, there are means and ways to conduct your detailed risk assessment. When you say risk assessment, there are means and ways. Let's say your risk posture, uh, your vulnerability assessment, then pen testing, then red teaming, then your attack surface which is being monitored. These all comes into play. You have to be on top of that when it comes to a strategy. So hope that answers the questions.
Yeah, really, three line of defense. Very recently, the RBI, as well as the SEBI, as well as the IRDI, all three regulators have given the cyber securities policies, and then they are acknowledging that the all three functions, all assurance function has to have come together to handle these particular issues and all kind of things. I will come back again to the Sundarji. How you as a CRO and CCO experience, or the as a assurance functions, how you see that resilience can be enhanced to protect the critical infrastructure of financial institutions.
Yes, of course. When you adopt emerging technologies, I mean, there were two wonderful sessions just before this. One was Zeron and speaking about quantifying the risks for the enterprise as a whole, as well as looking at it from an external angle. And the other was the mobile security. When you look at the mobile issues that the speaker raises, so many issues, I mean, mind-boggling. We do use containerization, we do use many of the technologies or solutions. But having said that, I'm always worried about an employee clicking some link which the employee should not click. We conduct some tests, we conduct tests like, this particular company has announced a 40% discount, and see how employees behave. And it's a false test, just to see how employees are behaving in the network. You will be amazed that only 46% passed the exam, or 43 or 46. So the remaining all others clicked because the discount was a alluring offer. Nobody checks where the information is coming from, what kind of sources we use. Like we say Amazon, AMAZON, still people will click. They don't realize it's not Amazon, it's Amazon. So, and then you catch them and then said, please be careful, you are in a corporate network. You're supposed to behave responsibly, not click on unknown links. So the emerging technologies contains lots of tools being used, emerging processes. You standardize processes, you go for ISO 27001, ISO 31000, ISO 23,000 for the BCM.
How the regional partners or the government agencies are adding or supporting to this particular securities
I
system?
was part of a large company, so we used to have, even now I am, so we have conferences or meetings to discuss cyber security issues also and other risks also. And then there are lots of solutions that are brought about by various experts in various companies. And then we do best practices sharing sessions. So this especially works in the regional management meetings, and then the migration of best practices happen from one company to another or region to group to region, either way. This is one way. And then, of course, regulators are becoming very, very aggressive now. I remember one of the regulator, this was 6-7 years back, uh, used to harp on this DR drills. We do DR drills in the weekend or times where there is no impact on production. But the regulator insisted that the company should work on the big days on DR for about 30 to 24 hours or 36 hours, 3 days or 2 days. That's a challenge now, depending upon capacities, depending on applications, depending upon network, depending upon so many aspects. But we still have to do it because he'll pull us up in the meetings that we have with the regulator. So each layer, regional regulator, group, cyber security auditors, standardization auditors, they come up with new techniques, new technologies, new aspects, and emerging risks. More importantly, emerging risks. So they take care of the emerging risks through better controls, better process, better technology. And therefore, you need to adopt. And therefore, there is, at a particular aspect or a particular second, you will never be up the curve. There will always be risks, there will always be trouble, there will always be issues. How do you contain them within the manageable limit is what a risk manager does. So that's what I do.
I will add here, the government agencies, or you can say this, the regulators are contributing a lot. They are saying you ki what type of policies you have, cyber security policies, IT related aspects policies, how you will conduct. The CERTIN is giving the guidelines separately that how you will conduct yourself, your business, your IT securities infrastructure and all. So they are contributing very significantly from time to time to have a boost in supporting to your infrastructures and all, and securities specifically. Let's turn to the what are the securities tools we could use it. It's not I will not need to introduce kind of things, because all partners starting from Xeron to the Sophos and other partners have already given that particular deliberations that what are the software tools you can use it. But here I will suggest only one thing, that the tool must be giving you automated responses and kind of things. You need not to have the manual interventions all these times. So that you have to select as per your own the requirement of the business, as Xeron's have they said the Kuber. You can analyze the as per your requirement, as per your vulnerability, as per your risk appetite and requirement kind of things. So with this, I'll turn to the Taharji, saying that how you are seeing that the awareness, because previous to this also we have seen that the employees are contributing a significant in the the creating vulnerability to the infrastructure. How you are seeing that the awareness among the employees will decrease the cyber security incidences and all?
Absolutely, employees are the core of this thing, and no matter what technology or tools you have deployed across your infrastructures, but at the end of the day, it's your employee clicking on some malicious link, and all security or all the infrastructure which you have deployed goes for the toss. I will quickly touch upon few points where the awareness among employees should be the first or the first more concerns across the when it comes to an awareness. Recently, I was going through one of the article which states 81% of these incidences needs human elements. So you kind of just visualize what exactly the percentage. Almost 81% cyber attacks need human elements. So that comes to a core of it. when it comes to an employees or any kind of malicious payloads in the emails. So employee awareness, obviously there are means and ways to for these employee awareness. You could have sir touch upon some phishing simulation which or other drills which we conduct on periodic basis to make them aware about what are the latest cyber threats, what are the means and ways through these threat actor can gain or lure you to click on certain links or the attachments which you can open, and all those hard work which are IT or security team put in place just goes for a toss. So it's very important aspects. I believe I'll not take much of your time.
True.
Time clock is running too fast.
Training plays a very significant
Exactly.
role, because one touch by your employee will create a lot of danger to your whole infrastructure and all. So that training is very much important, very much crucial also. So investing in the money on the training, it should not be think in that line. It should be taken very seriously and should continue. Here I'll come back again on the Sundarji. He has already given that particular examples and all. That when something has happened, if some incidents has happened in the organizations and all, so how you are tackling that particular things, because see, you have a customer faith as well as your operations to also be continued. How you are handling that kind of situations and all?
As you rightly pointed out, awareness and training is very important. And when you launch technologies, since you spoke about customer flexibility, customer efficiency versus security. Now, when you try and secure, you can't make systems process very complex. And if you say, I'll give you a card will give you OTP, and then OTP has to be put thrice. For instance, if you buy an insurance policy online or through by an agent, you may have to put OTP 3 times today. One at the initial stage, one after a confirming stage, one at the later stage. But if you make this whole process difficult, the customer will say, go to hell, I don't have so much time to buy. Then you have calls coming to the customer. Did you buy this? Do you know you have to pay premium for 10 years? Do you know this is this? The customer may not listen, he may not have the time. So you will need to handle both carefully. For instance, now DPDP is coming, data privacy. So you would need to have agreement signed by the customer. At the same time, you have to call the customer, confirm. Because agreement customer may not have read. Nobody reads agreements these days. Everybody will say, I agree. Or click, I agree. But then how do you know that customer knows what he knows? And therefore you have to question, okay, do you know that you have to buy policy? Do you know that your information will be stored carefully? Now customer will say, I want to delete the data. Now, for instance, you have a regulation which says you can't delete customer KYC 5 years or 10 years after the policy's maturity. Now I'll have to explain to the customer, I can't delete your KYC data because I'm supposed to keep it for 10 years after the policy has matured also. So in DPDP, you will have an exception because of another regulation. You will have to handle this through the security package, through the tool, through the technology, through process. And therefore, you need to balance customer efficiency also, security also. And make it easy for the customer to understand, click. Your browser, wrapper, all agreements should be friendly. Your calls should be friendly. If you test it out, at least test it 100 customers before, mock customers, so that things are quite clear.
Thanks, Sundarji. It's really, this balancing is a very important act. But if you will look at, the UCO Bank's incidents where 820 crores has been, passed within a 3 days time. So now the UCO Bank is taking the actions and all, but at the same time they have announced that they are going to invest 1,000 crore rupees in their digital infrastructure and all. So you don't know, any straight jacket reply for this particular things, but you need to have your operation continue as well as the faith of the customer with intact with your organizations. So thanks